So the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at how to implement the WordSearcher.printSuffixSlice method. We just visualized it. Now we're going to take a closer look at the implementation details. Here's a high-level view of what the implementation looks like. As before, you can get it in the WordSearcher.java file in my simple search stream example. This is going to show off collect, groupingBy, dropWhile, and forEac. So it'll kind of show off a bunch of different things in detail. So the first thing we do is we take the list of search results and we're going to turn that into a stream. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a map that's going to map the word as the key to the list of indices associated with that word as the value in the map. This is going to work much like it had done before. We're going to use the getWord method reference in order to be the classifier to make the map where the strings are the keys. And we're going to have this downstream collector that we'll see later that is used to merge all the result lists together. We use the linked hash map constructor reference to make a linked hash map that preserves the insertion order. And we'll talk more about toDownstream collector later. Once we've got ourselves this map, we're then going to create the entry set for the map, which is just basically a set of all the entries. And then we're going to stream that entry set to make it a stream of entries. And the stream will be a stream of these key value pairs, the string to the list of indices. We're then going to use the dropWhile method. And what we do here is, while we haven't found a key that maps the word we're looking for, we're just going to drop each of those entries in the stream. So they're just going to be ignored. And when we finally get a match, then that predicate will be false because the predicate is not equal. And at that point, then the dropWhile method will just return the substream that corresponds to everything from that first match to the end of the stream. And what we do is we then say for each entry, E, because entry is the entry set, print the result where we pass in the key as the first parameter, the key of the entry, and the value as the second parameter. So we've already looked at print result before. We don't have to re-examine that. But what we're doing here is we're using the forEac method to take all the entries that start from the place we got the match and going to the end. And what's particularly cool about this program, and more generally the concept of functional programming in Java, is how you can read the computations very linearly from top to bottom. You don't have to sit there and like try to play runtime system with looping. And it's all very declarative. You're saying what you want to have happen. You're not saying really how to do it. Obviously there are hows all over the place in the implementation of the streams framework, but you don't have to be concerned with how, you just have to be concerned with what. So you can kind of look at this sort of top to bottom and say, you know, for each of the search results in the list of search results, turn that into a stream, collect them up into a map, and then for each entry in the map, turn that into a stream, drop everything while we haven't reached the end, how we haven't found a match for the word, and then print out everything from where the match occurred to the end of the stream. So what's cool is that the code, the logic, is really very, very similar to just looking at this thing and reading it top to bottom. And you don't have if statements, you don't have loops, you don't have other things that would require you to go back and forth trying to play runtime system in any way, shape, or form. So that's very cool. So it's interesting to go and compare and contrast this with a more traditional way of doing things. And you can also go and see how the print results method works if you go back and look at the previous lesson. Note again that this is the forEac method on the stream, not the forEac method on the map. So those are two different things. Here's how the not equal method is implemented. This is just a little helper method that's going to take the map entry, which has the string list tuple, and the word we're looking for. And you can see what it does is it says, if the key in the entry equals the word negated, so if it's not equal, then it returns true, otherwise it returns false. And that's the predicate that we're using here in order to drive the way in which dropWhile behaves. So that's the end of the discussion of the WordSearcher print suffix slice example.